How's it going, everybody? My name is Jim, and welcome to FSD Driver. Today, we are overcast with a lot of different showers. It was a nice day overall. FSD handled everything exceptionally well, but there are weird things in this video that we are going to cover. So, like always, I will speed up the footage to 8 times the speed, and then I will slow it down whenever we have anything weird or we have a safety critical intervention. Now, in today's video, we're also going to be talking about GPS pinpoint placement and try to say that 5 times fast. But there are some good takeaways in this video, and I hope you guys enjoy the drive. We're going to go ahead and speed it up and then again slow it down to those critical moments. So we're coming up on the weird part here. Now, the car turns its signal on to the right-hand lane, but the right-hand lane's actually blocked by all the cones. It moves everything over into the left lane, so it moves itself back over. Now, again, we're going at a high speed of like 70 miles an hour. And I just don't think that the car should make those type of moves. There's really no reason to be over in the right-hand lane. We have quite a bit of time before we get off the bridge when we need to be in the right-hand lane. So the car should have seen that. Now, I have terrible eyes, but I could even see like, hey, I know that's closed. And the first thought I had is, why are you putting your blinker on to move over into a lane that doesn't exist? Again, I try to let the car do its own thing as much as possible, and if I need to intervene, I will. I didn't have to intervene there. The car obviously put its signal light back on, moved us over, and now we are continuously driving. So we are coming up on our destination here. It is located on the left corner, and there is basically parking on the right side of the road. And so we've reached our destination. I wanted to see if the car would actually move over to the side of the road, because I've done many drives now where the car is actually pulling itself over into an empty space and it's just stopping. And it didn't really do that here, so I'm not intervening with the car whatsoever. I'm just kind of letting it figure itself out, see what it's going to do, if it's going to pull off to the side of the road, if it's just going to sit here and wait for me, if it's going to stop. It never does stop. It just kind of sits here and just does this small creep for a very long time. And then what happens is the GPS kind of just re-navigates itself, so it makes a circle around the building, and this is where it starts to kind of pick up. And then before it gets to the stop sign here, it decides, hey, I'm gonna turn into this route right here. So I believe this is kind of like a valet drop off or something for this building. It decided to take that. It handled everything exceptionally well. But again, it still isn't really that consistent. Where I've done Minneapolis drives, it gets to my destination and it kind of just pulls itself off to the side of the road. Here, it just kind of struggled and didn't know what to do. And again, I try not to intervene with anything with the car. So what we're gonna do, is we're gonna just do our circle around the building, we're gonna park, and then we're gonna chop up the video and then move to the next part of the drive. So this is the part where it will actually pull itself over to the side of the road, and it will automatically park itself. So I'm not sure why it works sometimes and other times it doesn't. It also doesn't park within the lines itself. It just kind of parks in the center of one. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to go to Upper Hudson. Not sure if that's the technical name, but basically we are going to drive through the town of Hudson, through the homes in this area, cross a bridge, and then go to the other side of Hudson with 0 interventions. So we have arrived at our final destination, which is the Menards in Hudson, Wisconsin. Now, I am going to enter in a different address. I wish the car would basically park itself right now, or just know, like, stop and park. And this is one thing I wanted to bring up here really quickly. I wanted to talk about GPS pin locations or pin points. Where do we place those points? Well, right now what we do is we place those points on the building, but I don't see a future of just having one pin placement on a building. I see the future is having multiple pin locations that can basically go for all of these cars that will become autonomous and full self-driving in the future. So basically, I've been alive since the time that we had MapQuest, where we didn't have cell phones. You went on the computer, you printed out the instructions. That kind of shows how old I am. Then we ended up getting cell phones. People worked on Google Maps, they worked on Street View, Apple Maps, all of that stuff. Now what we have to do is we have to go back and we need to revitalize all of those maps and that data, because what we've done is we've only put a pin where a business is located. But what we need to do is we need to have secondary levels of pins, in my opinion. So we could have a pin that shows the location of the building, such as the front door, and then we could also have a pin that could be a pin for the parking lot, and then maybe a third or fourth pin for a specialty parking ramp or a VIP parking or something to that nature. And then what we could do is when we're navigating to those places, we could simply say, do you want to land on the red pin, the green pin, the blue pin? And what that would do is it would determine where your car is actually going to take you and park. So if you wanted to valet your car, you could click on the red pin, and then that place would valet your vehicle. If you were going to a shopping mall, you could click on the green pin. That would take you to the parking ramp. If you were just in a normal parking lot like we were at the Menards, you could click on the blue pin, and that would take you to the generalized location of the parking, so your car would self-park. So I believe there's a lot of data that basically needs to be created that we just haven't done. Right now, our cars are just mindlessly driving from pin 1 to pin 2, but pin 2 is just the placement of the business. It's not necessarily where the car is going to park. Now, I bring this up because I had the experience where I went to a Culver's located by my house, and it basically brought me to the front door, and the car didn't know what to do. Then I had to take over as a driver. Then I went to a Dairy Queen that was also located, and that actually didn't take me to the front door. What it did is it took me to the parking lot, and then the car parked itself. And I was like, that's really great pin placement for a customer. So I think there is a future in this, and it's definitely a project somebody could pick up and say, hey, we need to like actually give our cars places to mark. Now, you wouldn't actually need to do this if you were Tesla or if you were Google Maps. You could just leave it all up to your users to basically create those. Like, give us some type of software on the Tesla side that says, mark where the parking lot is. I would definitely do that at every place I go. I would just draw a little perimeter box around the parking lot, and then if enough people did it and the sizes were similar, then it would just automatically mark that, save it in the system, and then when somebody else comes, it would be like, do you want to park in the parking lot or do you want to valet your car? So I think these are lots of things we just haven't thought about with full self-driving. But now that it's getting better and better, and we're seeing all of these companies come out with their own version of full self-driving, I think we need to go back to the map data, and we need to recreate map data so these cars can actually get us to point A to B, park themselves with zero intervention from the actual driver. So for this, we're going to speed up the footage again. Sorry about my rant. And then we're going to pause it if we get any other issues. All right, so we reached the end of our drive, and I ended up splicing the video here to do another drive. This time we're going from Hudson, Wisconsin down to Stillwater, Minnesota. And in this portion of the drive, we do actually have our first intervention with the car. And it's a weird intervention because it really shouldn't exist. I'll speed up the footage and I'll show you exactly what happens and explain what I think is going on with the vehicle. But again, I still don't have 100% assurance that this is actually what is happening. It's just a guess basically at this point in time. So this is our first intervention. So you'll notice my screen here, it will say like shake the wheel. We're going down this straight road. There's also a bridge overhead of us. And then I am shaking my wheel. If you look off to the left corner of my screen, do you see me actually shaking my wheel and turning it? Now at this point in time, I actually step on my brake, but nothing actually changes with full self-driving. It still thinks I'm in full self-driving, and it basically has this grab the wheel. Now you notice that went away, but you can see my line is gray on the actual screen, and then now I re-engage full self-driving. And for some reason, I start getting the rainbow road on this, and this kind of continues for the rest of the drive. So I can't really explain what happened there. The only thing I can think of, if you want to rewind the film, is I believe it thinks the bridge is actually like a truck or something is in the way. And so it's like grab control of the wheel immediately. Now, I thought about splicing up this footage and re-showing, but the video is so long, so just definitely go back and re-watch it. It is very weird that it did that, and you can see me wiggle the wheel like extremely hard. I end up breaking out of FSD because I step on the brake, but my screen doesn't change the visualizations, and it just keeps alerting me. And then when that screen goes away, you can see that I have a gray line and I'm actually in control of my vehicle. So it was very weird. Just another one of those Tesla bugs that I can't actually explain. So I just wanted to slow the footage down here because we are in overcast and now we are going into torrential downpour. So there's actually a wall of rain that we're going to drive into, and it just keeps getting heavier and heavier, and it only lasts a little bit. We get out of the cloud system and then we drive back into it across the bridge. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to speed this up. Just keep in mind there is a warning at the bottom of my screen that says full self-driving. May be disengaged because of bad weather. It's that little red alert that you get once in a while. But the car did handle everything. But I will speed up and get to another point with the semi truck that is in front of us. All right, so we've been following this semi for a little bit. He is going to take a right-hand turn. He has his blinker on, but what he decides to do is take this big wide turn, and my car tries to sneak on the right side of him, and it has no luck because he's a little bit faster than what we are going, but we will continue to follow him, and then we will get into a second turn. And I understand semi-trucks once in a while take a wide turn, but this next one is very confusing, even if I was driving the vehicle. So this is our second turn here. Now the semi truck looks like it's going straight, and then he puts his blinker on, and then he starts to cross over into my lane, but my car is faster than him, so it takes it. Now, I don't believe personally that I'm in the wrong here. I believe my car did everything exceptionally well. He did not have his blinker on until the last second. He took this very wide turn. I honestly thought that he was going to go straight, and then he started plowing his way over into our right-hand turn lane, but I believe FSD handled everything perfectly. So was really excited to see that. Now that's pretty much the end of this video. There are no other interventions or weird things that happen. The car handled the rain and the weather exceptionally well. There was still that issue with the bridge going overhead where our car kind of freaked out on FSD and didn't really know what to do, but it was weird because it just continued to drive straight. And yeah, that's it for this video. If you guys would leave a like and a comment, definitely leave comments. I love to see what people are talking about. I always reply back to my comments. If you check out my other videos, I basically spend, I don't know, 15 to 20 minutes a day in the comment section where I reply back to people and have conversations. So anyways, if you guys would like and subscribe, we'll see you in the next one.